Hello gamers and welcome back. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshak if you want to call me by my in-game name. And good for us, Hearthstone has actually just dropped an update that's actually pretty exciting and will affect every player currently who plays ranked ladder. We've been hoping for an update like this for quite some time in response to what feels like a grind every single month a player has to go through to either achieve the rank that they're wanting to achieve down in the ladder, or like, let's say, legend rank, which is obviously, if you play Hearthstone, that's one of the goals that you will have. So unfortunately, currently the system is very tedious and it doesn't actually fit in well with their current player base, with a lot of the current players being casual players, and at the beginning of the month they're getting paired with high legend players. So it's pretty inconveniencing for the high legend players. It's unfulfilling for the the casual players. So definitely some change was going to need to be found. They've been saying they're going to address this forever, and finally we do have some form of fix here. So let's go on over and see what Hearthstone has implemented. We'll talk about it, and then from there, I've had my ideas on how they could fix this system months ago. I mean, this has been something that's been happening for 3.5 years since the game has released. They put in some minor changes like ranked floor. So as we know, at rank 20, 15, 10, and 5, you can't go back up after you've achieved that rank for the month. Also, once you're legend, you can't lose it. But at the end of every month, you lose your rank and you go all the way back to, I think, 16-ish. If you're at legend, you go back to rank 16. That's not, that's so bad. I mean, it's like it's just a joke. You just kind of have to laugh at that. Like, why is a legend player, the top, 0.1% of the game, being pushed back to rank 16 every month? So with that, the changes that they have made, there's a little video on it, which is going to explain exactly what I'm going to explain, but without my insights to it. So whatever rank that you happen to hit your month, you're going to be, when the rank resets the following month, you're going to be 4 ranks higher. So let's say you end up at legend rank, the highest rank you can achieve right now, you'll go to rank 4. If you end up at rank 5, you'll go to rank 9. So you're only going to be pushed back 4 ranks each month. So it's like a small decay, very similar to how League of Legends has a decay at the end of the season, and there's a couple other games that also have this small sort of decay. So if you're not playing, you'll go back 4, next month you go back another 4, and it makes sense in regards to having some form of decay. So definitely a huge helper, because legend people don't need to be pushed back to rank 16. You just be pushed back to 4, and at 4 you can probably hit legend then within the next couple days regardless. If you're hitting legend, you're probably hitting legend consistently, so you're not going back to rank 4 is something you'd like to see, because you don't like grinding back from rank 16 all the way back to legend every month. Going to rank 4 is positive. Also, what's good is the casual players. Let's say you start at rank 20, right? And you hit rank 15 and you get pushed back to 19. You're still farther ahead than you were the previous month, and also with the old resets, because the old resets, you're rank 15, you go like to 22. Right? So you're getting farther into ladder your next season, which gives you some form of progression sense. And then on top of that, there's the rank floors as well, so which is really, really nice. Oh, a small other change that they had that I forgot to mention was that each rank now, we're upwards in the rank. I think at rank 20 plus, it's only like 1 or 2 stars. So to get to the next rank, there's going to be 5 stars for each rank right now, regardless of what rank you are. When you hit rank 5, it was 5 games every time, and that was the most. And then from like, I think 10 to 5 was 4 games you had to win to progress. Now it's just 5 stars across the bat, as we can see in this picture here. At rank 25, you need to win 5 games, fill up all these stars to move on to the next rank. Again, having a clear-cut system for every rank makes sense. Again, they had less stars for the higher ranks, so you could progress through those ranks faster because you would need less wins to level up. But at the same time, that's the exact same reason that we were coming into contact with players from rank 25, they would go to rank 20 pretty quickly, because you only needed 2 wins to get up, and you couldn't even lose stars at rank 20 through 25. And then at rank 20, all of a sudden they'd be hitting a lot of these more serious decks and a little bit more serious players. So this gives people time at this lower ranks to be able to continuously play the game without getting into contact with the players who are of higher skill or playing very competitive decks, or semi-competitive decks. So pretty cool there. And also just 5 wins across the board makes sense. There's a lot of people that just didn't know how many stars were at each rank, because each bracket had its own set of stars. It's just like 5 across the board, easy, GG, move on. Next, this is going to be taking effect at the end of February. So not January, not this month, not February, the end of February. So going into the March season. So we still have about a month and a week of playing what the current ladder is, and then it'll be over and starting again at the beginning of March is when we'll see it. So we actually won't even see the rollover until, yeah, starting with March. Never mind. I was thinking at the end of March because, you know what I'm saying. Never mind. And then there's one more thing I think I was going to mention that they, I think that was actually it. Yes. So with that, this is what they did. So what I was thinking of, I kind of had two plans with improving ranked. One of which is making the seasons an actual season. 4 months, then ladder resets. So we have exactly what we've been doing now. You can actually add 5 stars to each rank. I think that's fine. But at the end, it's not going to reset each month because that's just not a lot of time. Most players can't play this game for 2 to 3 hours a day to be able to, push legend. So when you're resetting the rank at the end of each month, granted, now that their system allows people to progress a little bit better, if you just have it reset at the end of 4 months, like every other game that does seasons, you allow players the ability to sit on their rank a little bit longer and not have to worry about constantly being reset at the end of each month. So that's pretty cool. That would affect tournaments a little bit, so there'd need to be a change with that. But tournaments need to be changed anyway because the way they're organized and currently set up, that'd be an entire another video, which I'm not going into in this one. But either way, there's a reason why almost every other game runs the seasons the way they do, and a 3 to 4 month progression system. And at the end of that, then everybody gets reset because there's a lot of AFKers, a lot of people who just stop playing and they don't, you know what I'm saying? They can just, there's going to need to be a fresh reset eventually because with the current system they have now, there'll be more and more legend players, which isn't a big deal. I think there should be a lot more legend players than what they're all now because think of like ranks 25 through rank 1, like 50% of ladder, and then think of legend, the entire legend pool of players, the other 50%. And the bottom 50% of legend players are like the top 10%, the top, 10% of players or whatever you want to, whatever the percentage is going to be after they implement this change, because obviously there's going to be more legend players. But think about that as the big boy pool, and think about like the smaller to intermediate pool is the people who are ranks 1 through 25, which is good. I think there should be that big bracket, and there definitely should be more legend players, so the players from rank 1 to 25 have a little bit easier ride, you know what I'm saying? They can actually see their progression in there, they can play games, and they're not getting absolutely like toaster strudled into not wanting to play this game because they're competing against, again, legend players and all that, high ranked players at the beginning of each month. Even in the later stages of the month, you have people signing back on, and if we only go decay 4 instead of decay 16 ranks, that won't even happen. Let's say a legend player picks up the game at the end of the month, they're still rank 4. Or if it's the 4-month system, it's fine as well, because even if they come back in a month or two, they're still their legend rank or whatever they were before. There's no decay in there anyway. It's the problem when a legend player at the end of the month picks up the game again, 2-3 weeks into the system, they're rank 16, they're actually going against rank 16 players, and it's not fun for anybody. It's just tedious for the legend player, not fun for the casual player. So that, I think the season thing would fix there. Or this is something I've been brewing on a little bit. I'm sure it would need to be modified, but right now, let's say you're playing a control deck, right? The games normally last anywhere between 15 to 35 minutes long if you're a control player. I would say 75% of the games last that long. Sometimes they're a little bit sooner because you're able to pull off a win. But when you're playing that long and you play a 20, 25-minute match, right, and you get 1 star, and then you queue up again and you go against an aggro deck and you lose in the first 3 turns of the game. You've lost within 2 minutes. What you've just obtained in 2 minutes is a loss, and what took you 25 minutes was a win. So how does it, so you spent 25 minutes to get 1 star, and then you spent 2 minutes to lose a star. That feels incredibly fucking awful for the control player. And that's why a lot of people will climb with aggros, because you're able to slam in games in less than 5 minutes. You just game, and they gain a star. And for the control players like myself, you spam there for 25, 30 minutes, and you get 1 star, which is the same amount of time you could play like 5 or 6 aggressive-based decks, and been able to play, even if you went 4 and 3, or whatever, you went 3 and 2, you still get a star and you get 5 more games under your belt, which gives you a higher percentage of being able to pull even more wins, whether through luck or percentage or whatever. Maybe your deck needs a certain combo. But what I would have liked to see, or at least a thought about, or even a mention of, is the games that take longer, like statistically, than, like, let's say an aggro. All right, the control decks that take, let's say 20 minutes, right? If you win that game, you get 2 stars. It's not a win streak bonus. It's the game lasted 20 minutes. You get 2 stars because that's basically like playing 2 games. The losing player still only loses 1 star. You're not going to lose 2 stars, but the player determining the length of the game, you get an extra star because it's just, I think that should be fair. You know, you play a 25-minute match, you win, you get 2 stars. You lose a 2-minute match, you lose 1 star, but it feels okay because you played 25 minutes a match and you got 2 stars for that. You know what I'm saying? You didn't just lose all of your 25-minute progression in 2 minutes. But then, Rob, the aggro players are just going to rope out every turn and make their matches take longer. Okay, so this is what you do. You take the average time of a roper playing an aggro deck. So they rope out aggro for 8 turns, right? They just rope. You take whatever time that is, you add another 2 minutes on it, and even if they end up roping every single turn as aggro, their deck still only lasts to a certain turn. If they decide to rope every turn, their deck still burns out at turn 10. They don't do, it's not like a control deck versus control deck them burning out. It's an aggro versus control, which means that, again, the game will end before, most of the time, turn 10, or the control deck's going to win, which then the person playing aggro roping is end up going to probably help the control deck because they're going to get the extra stars. But let's say, you know, you put the time of getting that extra star slightly ahead of, let's say, an aggro deck roping, the aggro deck will never get that extra star because even if the roping, the length of the game still doesn't meet that requirement. So you have to hedge against people trying to beat the system with aggro decks by roping every turn just to, you know, time it just right to get that 20-minute mark or 15 mark or whatever the time is that, you know, would be calculated for an aggro deck to rope every turn and then still lose. And then, of course, plus or minus a variable based on, you know, internet connections and stuff like that. Not that hard of stuff, but it would be cool to see at least a mention of some, you know, other system that they thought of. Like, they presented us with what they did, but they didn't say, hey, we also took a look at all of these other things, and this is why we didn't choose them. Because you know in the meetings that this wasn't the only thing presented on the table, right? They probably had 5, 6, 7, maybe even more ideas that was presented to them. They tested or thought about each and every one, and then they kind of picked them out, the ones that end up not working. But I would have liked to see their other ideas, and again, why those ideas didn't work, just so I know that there was some more effort put into this, and also that they were thinking about other things. Because as cool as what they did is here, and it's great, I'm not gonna sit here and, you know, argue against what they did is bad and I want to go back to the old system. No, the system is better than the system we have, but I still think the system could be even better, because even in their video that they made about this, they're like, oh, you know, if things don't work out, we can change it in 1 or 2 months. It's like, well, if the system was good and you knew it was good, you would ask for feedback, but you wouldn't say, you know, let's tweak it. You know, it could potentially need to be tweaked within the next 2 months if we get too many legend players or whatever the case may be. You should be confident in the solution that you've provided to your audience after 3.5 years of no changes to ladder besides like rudimental, ranked floors. I mean, that's not some huge change. That's just something that, you know, when you go rank 5, you can't go any further than that. That's not, you know, a huge overhaul. That's just a slight little fix there. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit more of a convenience for the player, which was great. But again, 3.5 years, and that's the only real change, and it's not even like a solid change. It's just like a minor little patch. You know what I'm saying? I think we deserve a little bit more than that. And I'm maybe a little cynical about this, and it's just because I like Hearthstone so much. You know what I mean? I want to see this game progress. I want to see the game do well. I want to see everybody enjoying the game. I don't like to see players leaving. I don't like players talking shit about the game. And, you know, this is too hard. This is too easy. You know, I don't have fun with it anymore. It hurts me when people say that, because I want the game to do well. You know what I mean? This is currently the best, easiest to get into, you know, card game online right now. There's a reason why it's top 5 on Twitch almost every day. And when people say card games, Hearthstone pops into mind. You know what I'm saying? So I would just like to see it live up to that, you know, being the best of its kind right now. And you know what I'm saying? There's always ways to further improve. So with that, sorry that was a little Rob rant, but I just wanted to give you guys what I've been thinking about on this for a little bit, kind of my insights on what's going on. And then also, again, if there's any other changes that are going to be made or will be made, they'll always be updated on here, hopefully when they happen. With that, I'd love to hear what you have to say in regards to what they've did, or anything that on what I've said that you would change in regards to, you know, my ideas, or if you got some of your own too. It's always interesting to hear what you guys have to say as well. So with that, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next episode. Of course, I'm Robert Warshak, and happy whatever the hell day it is.